Happy Friday, everyone. And we have some breaking news today from the NFL. 5 players have been suspended for violating the league's gambling policy. And to me, that's very crazy. Of those 5, 3 of them were suspended indefinitely, and 2 of them were suspended for only 6 games. Now, I know you guys are probably asking the questions. What's the difference? Okay, let's break it down. The 6-game suspension for 2 of the players was only because the part of the policy that they violated was they made bets on non-NFL games at an NFL facility. Now, that's self-explanatory. Had they been at home or away from an NFL facility, they wouldn't have violated the policy. But the 3 that were suspended indefinitely, they were betting on actual NFL games. And that's even crazier in a nutshell. Me personally, I feel like professional players shouldn't be betting, period. Non-NFL, NFL, and I know some people's going to come out and they're going to be upset about that and say, hey, these guys should be able to do what they want to do. And I understand that. But to me, that violates the integrity of the game all the way around. Sports players are friends with other sports players. No difference from a lot of movie stars are friends with other movie stars. What I do for a living, I'm friends with guys that do what I do for a living. So it gets murky when you have friends in other sports and they're betting on non-NFL games, or they're not betting within their sport. You know, it just gets really murky. And then for the NFL, I mean, come on, guys, we got to think about it. We have all these different gambling platforms that you can bet on. I honestly have lost count of how many there are. It's a whole lot. And the NFL has been jamming this down our throat the last couple of years. Not even getting started on the paid fantasy football sports. I love playing fantasy football, but you can pay to play that too. So it just really gets really murky when you think about that. So, okay, so you have the 3 that's been suspended indefinitely. Why were they suspended indefinitely? Well, pretty much they bet on NFL games, and you cannot do that. The NFL didn't go into great detail about how they bet on the games, but they did decide to say, well, they didn't affect the outcome of games. Yeah, of course, they have to say that because they don't want the people that's giving their hard-earned money hoping to make a big payday on something that's really possibly fixed. And I don't think that that's fair. You have people in this world, but predominantly in the United States, they're working overtime. They're picking up extra hours and they're spending their hard-earned money to go watch NFL games. They're spending their hard-earned money to bet on NFL games, hoping for a bigger payday. You know, you have people that slipping into gambling addictions and everything, excuse me. But for me, it's crazy because you have a person that were fine. They were making their mortgage payments, rent payments, whatever. You know, they were responsible people. And you have people like pretty much drowning by the wayside. Like they're getting into gambling, and it's one man told me before. He said the worst thing you can ever do is gamble and win big, because when you gamble and win big, you're searching for that big payday every time. Now, what's big? That depends on what's big to that particular person. $500 to me can be small, but $500 to the next person, it can be very large. So when it comes down to this, it's like, okay, are the games fixed? Are players involved? You had an NBA referee that was involved in a gambling scam. You have former baseball players. He played for the Cincinnati Reds. I'm not going to say his name, but everybody know who I'm talking about. You know, he can't even make it into the Hall of Fame because he gambled on his sport and within his sport. And of course, he had inside information, but let's think about NFL players. They also have inside information. Now, for the players that were suspended 6 games, okay, they bet on non-NFL sports once again. But for the NFL to say, okay, you can bet on non-NFL sports, but you just can't bet at any of our facilities, it's almost like they're trying to say, okay, we're washing our hands of this whole situation or whatever. And I understand that, but to a sense that's wrong. You got two players from the Detroit Lions, they were released today. So they're without a job, and they're also suspended for a full year. Now, the same thing happened to Calvin Ridley, but Calvin Ridley, I'm telling you right now, he is a lot more talented than two of these players that were suspended. So that's my opinion about everything. For me, once again, I feel like betting on your sport or outside of your sport, it really don't matter for me. For professional athletes, it just violates, to me, the integrity of the game. It gets really murky, and I feel like to a lot of people, including myself, it can be unfair at times because, I mean, I haven't played in the NFL before. And if I had played in the NFL before, I would know what practices is like. I would know the mannerisms of certain players. You know, he's doing this with his hands, so I know he's going to get off today. Just certain things like that, you know, those are inside things that a lot of NFL players know and other players in other sports know, because you have to study your opponent. You have to study tape. So for me, it's just a big time no. But what's your opinion? What do you guys think? Do you guys feel like NFL players betting on NFL games is cool? Do you feel like it's not cool? Do you feel like NFL players betting on non-NFL games? Do you feel like it's cool or it's not cool? Or do you just don't like professional players betting on sports, period? What's your opinion? Let me know in the comments.